most of us recognize that we are a product of our environments and of our past. And certainly that is true within the life of our church as well. We stand tall upon the shoulders of those who went before us. And on Sunday, November 6th, we will join together in All Saints worship. And we will also look at who is it that we have been as a church in the community. We have a rich heritage within the community. And yet we also recognize that God always calls us into the future as God's own people.
I'm going to be bringing out a lot of the history of our church and putting it out in different things.
Good.
Because I think people who just are coming now don't realize where it came, we started, and it gives you some roots if you know where we started.
Yep.
Community Methodist Church has been in the Coeur d'Alene area for a very long time. We were one of the first corporations that were filed in the city, I believe 1891. And prior to that, people had met in homes. I know of that history, and I see us as being true to the tradition of the history, as well as being progressive as we move forward in the world as we know it today.
Spiritually, we've grown a lot because of involvement with the church. One thing that's kind of stood out as we've been involved in the church in all these years is the philosophy of the more you give, the more you get. And that's kind of our return in the church. The windows in the old church were given by some captain from the lake down there, had all the boats down there in the days when he had a lot of money. And he gave money to put in some of the big windows in the church. Several years later, he came up and he said, you know what, the only thing I've left in life is what I gave away.
You know, our mission trips to Rio Bravo were one of the most special times in my life. They were life-changing, and it wasn't just our church, it was an ecumenical endeavor, and the camaraderie that was developed as we served the people of Rio Bravo and got to know them, you just want to be part of that community. And we went, I think about 9 different times, and I was really sad when we couldn't return. But that's another thing the whole church was involved in. We had so much support, financially and prayers.
Very many memories, of course, when we built this new building and many people were attending the first Easter service that was here in 1995, I believe. Very exciting. We had met at the high school across the street in the interim between the old building and this new building. There was much enthusiasm, and people had given of their resources for 10 years to make this happen.
Myrna was the organist, choir director. Between the two of us, we probably held almost every office in the church.
After one of our trips, at one of our events, we gathered backpacks and filled with school supplies and had 3 pallets to ship for the school children in Rio Bravo.
One of the gifts of United Methodism is our connectionalism. We're all a part of the greater whole. And so, as we have heard about the history of our church, it's important to acknowledge the history that is just up north, and that's in Twinlow. Here are some stories that remind us how truly connected we are.
I arrived at Twinlow 6 years ago as the camp director, and I had never been inside a Methodist church in my entire life. And it was Pastor Heather that first introduced herself and the church to me as the new guy from out of the area. But it was Steve Michael that said, "Hey, we're starting a disc golf ministry. You want to come play disc golf with me and the guys from church?" And I didn't know anyone from church, and I said, "Yeah, that sounds great." And so I started playing golf with them and got to know some guys in the church, and that's what kind of got me connected.
I love Twinlow. I served on the Twinlow board for a number of years. I also was a finance chairman for the camp. I see it as re-energizing our small churches. It's a place where youth can gather in a bigger group and learn, especially in the summer camps. but also it has grown to be a retreat for adults as well as children. And it's life-saving. It's a place where you can just relax and enjoy and get spiritual nourishment.
Twinlow is one of the oldest Christian camps in the Northwest, and what I love is that Twinlow got its start here at this church when it was located in a different place in town. In 1930, the folks from First United Methodist got together and incorporated Twinlow into its current incorporation, and since then this church has been deeply involved with Twinlow. The camp would not be there without Community UMC, and I love that we see their youth every summer. We see their adults. They're up there helping keep the place maintained, and it's a great relationship. And what I love is that the ministry can take place here in the church, but then it can also happen outside of these building walls and at camp. And I think that when you get outside into a Christian community, great things just happen, and that's what Twinlow can provide to the youth and the adults of this church.
Twinlow is a very beneficial organization for our church. I've been up there a lot trying to help, and I think it's been very exciting what is done for our community and all the other communities in the area. The children go up there. I raised a son and a daughter. They spent years going up to camp there. I've enjoyed the retreats we've had up there, so I think Twinlow is a very wonderful addition to our area.